This is a Michigan project I do. It's MDF. I'm going to show you today how to make patterns, how I make patterns. That one I've already made, so I'll just show you how I cut them out after I do. But when I make my pattern, I'll take a vinyl, put it on the MDF board, and I'm using 3/4 on this. You can use half inch, a quarter, but I like to use the 3/4. It seems to ride pretty good. The bearing seems to ride pretty good on the router bit. But I use that red or black vinyl so I can see real good the tan of the MDF when you're cutting it out or when you're sanding it. This one, bigger one, I'm putting on a little different. I'm cutting it to fit the board. The paper was a little bit bigger than the board, so I'll tape it 3/4 one way or the other, more to one end than the other. You can do it in half, but I fold it back, so I do 3/4 down or to one side, and I'll peel back the vinyl and the transfer paper, press it down, and then on the flip it over, and then you can pull the tape off at this time. Then you remove the backing paper off. And right here I'm just using my hand, but normally I'd use a squeegee or a block of wood or something to get all the bubbles out, but this is not a big deal. Because it's just basically on there until I'm done sanding it. After I cut it out and sand it, then the vinyls just look pretty, and I know which ones are my patterns. Might write on them pattern or something like that, so nobody else uses them or throws them away or whatever. Just here I'm just using a wooden block to push down the vinyl to help it stick a little more. You could use a heat gun if you want to. Sometimes that works to kind of get it to adhere a little bit better. This ain't sticking too good to the MDF, so as I'm pulling it up, it's kind of coming up, and I'm just pushing it back down. And as I go, I just keep working it out. Trying not to get no bubbles. I do get some few bubbles in this one, but I guess that's not a big deal on this for this situation. Main thing is you want your edges stuck real good, or else get dust and stuff in there, and it won't stick at all. So as long as the edges are stuck real good, that's the main thing I'm looking for on this project. And after I get them on, and I'm just doing the ovals today, I've already got the Michigan one cut out. So we'll take them over to the bandsaw. That's a little oval. I leave about a 16th of an inch to a 1/4 inch. I don't like to leave too much more than a 1/4 of an inch. I don't like that the router bit I've got, I don't like to take too much off. It doesn't have to be a pretty cut. The router is going to do all the work for you after this point here. Well, no, I guess this is my pattern, so I'm going to sand it on the sanding disc. But on a regular cut, you just have to make a quick cut, and the router will take care of the rest of it. But I'm making the patterns first for the ovals. Once again, my disc sander will take care of that. If you don't have a disc sander, you might want to take a little more time on your pattern anyways to get it closer, so you don't have to sand so much with the your hand sander. Keep your tools clean. This sanding disc is about wore out, but it'll work pretty good. It still worked pretty good for this project. Here I'm just getting her down close with the small sweeps. And I just have a little bit left. I leave a little bit because I'm going to start making some bigger sweeps. There'll be a flat edge there, your start and stops. So when you're making bigger sweeps, it'll take care of that. You won't have no marks there where you start and stop. Here I'm just tracing them out on the piece of wood. Now I'm going to cut them out. So my patterns are done already, and I just trace them out there, and then I'm going to take them over. There's my Michigan. See how I just do a quick cut, and that's my pattern. And now, just to make it easy to cut on the bandsaw, that's all I'll do for that. And I'll take them over to the bandsaw and cut these out. I don't cut none of that notch out. I let the router do all that stuff there. I have a spindle sander I was using to get in there, and we're marking cutting, but saws I got were taking too long for as many as we were doing, so I just cut out that nice and easy, and just this is where I leave 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch and let the router do the rest of the work. This makes a quick project if you're doing, especially if you're doing a bunch of them. And I just got this little bandsaw. You could use a jigsaw if you don't have a bandsaw. I've just bought this bandsaw. I'm hoping to buy a bigger one sooner or later, but this does the job right now. You see there's a bunch of holes in that. That's I had moved that around. I've used that quite a bit. I had to move it around. If you tighten them up too tight, they'll go right through that MDF. So you gotta be careful on that. You just center it up so you're taking the least amount out off with the router all the way around. Yeah, where's my drill gun? There it is. Now I'm going to have to pre-drill some holes in my patterns like I did on that Michigan one. And I countersink them just enough for the head to go down in underneath where it's flush. It doesn't really matter, but if you're using a router by hand instead of the table, you might want to have them flush to the so your router don't catch the top of them. But that MDF is pretty hard to start a screw, but if you pre-drill it, my drill, I'd have to adjust my drill bit. It wouldn't, it'd go right through it, so. And I put my patterns on the back of my material project that I'm doing. That's why the Michigan's up or backwards, is so I can screw in the back of it. So if I have to do any filling, or if Leaves a pretty small hole, so you don't really have to worry too much about. But here, see how that pushed up? Run that screw in, fresh on that MDF. Just back that drill up. Here, that's what I'm showing you. My drill bit's too long, and probably I could have adjusted as long as I took to show you that. But just back it up and then pull it right back down, and she'll snug right up. Now we'll go over the router table. Turn the vacuum on, so this MDF does make a lot of dust. So if you can get a vacuum close to you, it'll make a lot nicer. But that gives you a smooth finish. Looks, you don't even have to sand it. But these ovals make, the router makes a quick job of the ovals there. Now makes a quick job of this too, but that router bit does a really nice job on it. I couldn't get quite in there because of the fence, but once all the material was gone, I could get in there nice. Yeah, that edge there's barely even have to sand. It's a whole lot better than the way I used to do it, with just cutting it with a jigsaw. That's showing you how far. Can't really see it, but that one there I ended up drilling almost all the way through, as many times as we used it. And that just leaves a little pinholes like that there. You don't even have to do nothing to it. These are wall hanging, so you really wouldn't see it. I do put a filler in most of mine. Then I'll go around after this. I'll go around and I'll router the edges with 1/8 inch router. Yeah, I'm showing you it again. The little screw hole. They do make like glue strips and stuff that you could do if you didn't want to screw through it. But to me, for this project, it makes it nice. If you're doing a cutting board or something like that, where you don't want to have a screw hole in it, I would use that tape. Back in the day, we used to glue newspaper in between them and then pry them apart. They come a long way now. But now we got the 4 different styles. We've got the rectangle, and that's I use that for my wall hangings. That's the Michigan. That's real popular. And I just started. You saw I made the pattern. That I'll do the small oval. You can put pictures and stuff on that. Use a small cheese cutting board, but most of these are going to be my epoxy projects, and they're good sellers and people like them. And I just started these oval ones and made a couple projects up already with them. Well, thanks for watching. Check my other video out about how to prep my epoxy projects. That shows you how the next step on this. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. God bless.